Well, we're back once again. It seems that we've never left. We're back for another match in this year's VP4 2020 World Straight Pool Championship. The voice is beginning to go. This is our third match we've streamed today out of four, and we've just watched a great match between Semi-Pro and Hazard, and it was close, a lot closer than maybe some of us thought, and it was one chance Hazard had. He had to get a 60 run to pinch the match, and he fell short in the end. Semi-Pro goes through. We've got another match coming up in about a minute or so's time excuse me, and that's between Mc Clarky and Mooncake. Race to 150. My dinner's still in the oven. I'll be going to get that once we're underway. I need to have a drink because the voice is beginning to go. And I think everybody's gone for their dinner as well. But anybody who doesn't see the matches live and join us with the stream, you can always watch them on the playlist. I've just updated it and added those two matches that we've had earlier on. Who was that saying you haven't slept for 3 days? That's a great preparation for the match. Right, anyway, we are in the room. We've got the cloth colour. We are waiting on Mc Clarky arriving, and we're waiting on the lag. And here we go. Again, not a clue who's who here. Well, let's hope we see something worth watching. And certainly the lag on the bottom is the winner, and that's Mc Clarky, and he's going to put Mooncake in. And let's see what Mooncake tries. He's looking like the Semi-Pro break here. Inside English, clip the 5 and try and run into the pack, but he's got that all wrong. Far too heavy. And Mc Clarky has a shot to start with, although he won't be getting much else by the look of it. He's going to have to run over to the right side as we look to try and cut that 5. And it's not in an ideal position, but it's all he's got, unless he can spot a combo somewhere. Well, this is dangerous. He'd probably end up taking a 3 here, because that one ball is too straight and in danger of the run through and finding a hole. Cue ball needs to stay alive, and I think it's died a death in there. He's still on the 10, but he's going to be queuing over the 1. He can certainly get to it. He just needs to get it lined up. Yeah, that's just as awkward. He's queuing over the 4 as well. It would have been an option. And he's on the 15. Now, what's he got? I think he's dead straight in it as well. Well, he can pinch a bit and just draw into that 13. That'll open that up. Oh no, he's just drawn it straight. He could have pinched a wee bit of angle there. He's going to try the same again off this 14, just to get a little nudge into them, help them open up. So Mooncake certainly needs to practice the Semi-Pro break. He hit it too heavy. behind the two, that'll do. So some action here. And I'm going to apologise straight away before before I start. I'm going to be talking with my mouth full because I am starving. So I'll see this opening visit, and then I'm going to go and get my dinner. I can smell it. It's wafting through the house, and my stomach is rumbling. I'll tell you in a minute. I know it's going to be good because that ham hock and leek and sliced potatoes over the top, that is delicious. Well, the thing is, semi-pro, that's how I feel every day now. I'm constantly tired. Which certainly does not help in concentration and stuff nowadays. Once you start getting older as well, all those factors play a part. I mean, again, I should have had a nap in the middle of the afternoon because I normally do. You know, whether it be 20 minutes, half an hour, sometimes an hour, and I feel all the better for it, and I haven't had that this afternoon. Anyone tried Adirati? What's that? Is that a drug? Sounds like an Italian footballer. Well, he did it in the last tournament as well. How many times has he got to do it, Tin? Ask him that one. He did it in the last tournament, and he's done it in this one, and he'll continue to do it. He'll do it in the match, in his next match as well, if it happens that he's going to lose it. So what you're talking about is it's a banned substance, like the athletics organisation would have that in their banned substance list. And Mc Clarky with no shot to get into the pack, and at that point I'm going to go and get my dinner. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Now, I'd just like to point out that at the BBC media training, when you're getting trained up to start doing commentary and stuff like that, they frown very much on eating your dinner while you're commentating. Well, this has got a beautiful bechamel creamy sauce, those sliced potatoes and ham hock and leeks. Beautiful. Of course, it would roast the mouth off you if I was to put anything in my mouth right now, but I'm prepared to take that risk. So this is Mooncake's first real chance to do something by the look of it. Cut back in a 5, spread them far and wide, or do that and miss the 5. Well, you'd want to take that again. And I don't think Mooncake's been taking any heed of these disciplines I've been talking about, because the first part of the discipline is pot the ball. I think I'll mute my mic. This could get messy. Okay, I've got good news and bad news, guys. The good news is my dinner has now been consumed, and the bad news is I can continue with commentary. There we go. So, Mooncake trying to make a start of some description. One ball looks odds-on favourite to me for his break shot, and the 5 ball's good to get there as well. Well, what I'd like to know is why is Stubbs still in the tournament? That's what I want to know, because he's done it in the last tournament, he's done it in this tournament, and he's still in the tournament. So why is he not being dealt with, or do the admins not know that that's what happened? Show them the video evidence, because that would really get up his nose. He still wouldn't learn from it, I hasten to add, but I know that if I was still running tournaments, I'd boot him out the door. I wouldn't be afraid to do it. Because we all know what he's like. So, thing is, you just got to have the bottle to do it. Yeah, but of course the other problem is the times the matches are getting played. I mean, 9 o'clock in the morning, there's nobody here. And there's, I mean, the only person who's going to be around at that time in the morning is Brian Redback, because he's down, excuse me, he's down in Australia. But at the same time, anybody who plays him, and anybody who's watching, if they're in the room, they can mute him. And that's the simplest solution to any problems in that score. But this idea of quitting while your opponent's finishing the match, that's what I can't stand. That gets right up my nose. And he needs some kind of punishment so he'll learn. Yeah, but the actual game etiquette is poor, to say the least. You know, Stubbs always under the impression that the tournament revolves around him, and then he wonders why he's not won any. So he attracts all the attention that way. But to be serious about it, the way to deal with him is to boot him out at this tournament now, and boot him out any other that he signs up for until he behaves. And if he keeps not behaving, then just boot him for good. That's how they learn. They don't learn by mediation and soft talk. They learn the hard way. So Mooncake still trailing. The run goes to 18. And looking for a break shot. Nothing immediately jumps to mind. Could end up being one of these balls along the bottom rail here. I keep saying it. If he was going on like that and behaving like that in a real life tournament, he wouldn't have any more front teeth. He certainly wouldn't if that was me playing and I was getting all of that off him. He would have the butt end of my cue smacked across his mouth, and I'd take the consequences of that in court. But I know I would have done a good thing in the end, apart from the great satisfaction I would have got out of it, and the damage it would have done to his mouth, and that would have shut him up. But that Carlos Linda's an arsehole as well. He's another one. I would have dealt with him a long while ago. Well, the video evidence is there, that's the good thing about it. It's not as if anybody's making anything up. And the video evidence has got all the chat in it as well. Well, I might be able to just draw and catch them. The run goes to 26. Well, all he did was catch them, and he hasn't caught them enough to free anything. Well, the safest shot would be to run for cover up in that far corner, because he's leaving nothing on. He can skim off the 9 to do that. But once again, players seem determined to try and stay at this end of the table. I can't understand their thinking. Well, he's looking at that was what he's going to do, but he can easily brush off that 9, and if he scratches, so what? He's not left anything. But right down as far as you dare. That will do it. Well, like I said, he's an arsehole. That's it in a nutshell. So whenever I bump into any of them for the first time, I can guarantee I don't bump into them again. I've had dealings with him once, and I've never been near his room again, and nor will I ever be in the future. Which is why Apollon finds it very difficult to get games. Not the fact that he's good at snooker, but the fact that most folk learn that he's an arsehole as well. And I haven't spoke to him in 8 years. I think my parting words to him were, well, goodbye, this will be the last time I'll ever speak to you. And I haven't spoke to him since. So lost a point for Mc Clarky, but no damage, which is the most important thing. I'm looking at that 3 ball, no, it's too tight. There's nothing set. Well, Mooncake's trying to convince himself that he can pinch enough of that 3 ball. I think he's trying to convince himself. He might be looking to just lock onto the 3. Oh dear. Well, he hasn't locked on close enough. He's left the angle, and this is going to spread them far and wide. So neither player getting onto a run. It's all bits and pieces so far. Just drop the 9 in, bring the cue ball out, can get rid of the 2, or even get rid of that 14 in the bottom rail if he lands in the gap. Can still take care of these here. Now if he finishes on the rail and he's behind the 7, he can take care of it as well, so it's a sort of 2-in-1 shot this. If he plays it soft enough, he might want to take that 7 ball up the table and get it out of the way. Well, you see, there he's tried something he didn't need to try. I mean, you play a 2-in-1 shot where you're playing either just to finish it soft and land in a 9, or if you finish soft enough and finish there, you can get rid of the 7 up there, and he's tried to do something when he didn't need to. And now he's too high to play that shot if he wanted to, because the cue ball's going to run up the table. He's going to try and split them again, I think. No, he's taking his medicine and he's locked himself out. He's squatted behind the 5. Can he see this? That's it. The simple way it goes wrong. Now he's going to try and kick off the rail. But if he'd done what I said and just finished there, he wouldn't have been in this situation. This is why you've got to be on the lookout every minute you're at the table. And that 7 ball's not got a problem in going into that pocket. There's plenty of room to get to it. And he's got a chance again to do the same thing. Because these 2 balls down the side here allow you to get to those 2 balls that are in the triangle. Now he's still not prepared to take the 7. I don't know why. He's going to try and get into them from that side. He's missed them again, and he's running out of opportunities here. The final chance, he can roll the 5 in and drop through. That should be his shot. He's still got the 10 as a break shot, but he has to just drop through for the 7. He's going to try and stun into them again, I bet you, and he doesn't need to. Now I don't know what he tried there, but he's trying to do it off the 10, and there goes the break ball. Well, he's created one now, but can he pot anything? And the answer to that is it's touch and go, but you can certainly see enough of the 12. That 12 does go. That's going to stay up. That's not going to get there. But he went about that all the wrong way. That 7 ball should have gone a long while ago, and he would never have been ended up in this situation. And the run ends in 11. And being on it 100% all the time allows you to play the simple shot that gets you onto that 7 and takes care of it much earlier in the rack with those balls that were in the bottom rail. That's what you should have been doing to tidy up not only the bottom rail but get rid of that problem ball, which was the 7, and it sat there and sat there and sat there, and eventually the way he went, it all came to no avail. Now that's going to go down onto the break spot. He's pretty straight, and he's got zero chance of getting into this pack with a straight draw, so it's just the safety. So a point goes, but the sooner that either of these players get their heads down and get themselves set, and I'll repeat it again, follow the disciplines, immediately deal with them problem balls when you've got the opportunity to do it, or you end up with bits and pieces, which I have to admit is not pretty to watch. Now he could reverse bank this 5 ball up the table, not to pot it, but the danger there is how far the cue ball squirts through. If he's going to play a cut, he has to overcut it to get up the table so that he's missing the 5 ball and it cuts to the side rail and comes back along the top rail, or he's going all out for the pot, but he's not going to have much else from it though. He's got the pot, but he's just in as much trouble in that he's looking for a decent safety, unless he spotted something in the pack. Now let's look at that 15, that 8 ball, which is clean, and that 7 and 13, they go. That goes as far as I can see. Has he called the 13 yet? He's given it a good look. It ended up being a good match, and has had one last chance at the table, but he needed a run of 60 to pinch the match off Semi. He got about 24 or 27, and then it was all over, but it was a lot closer than I even thought. Well, he's played it, didn't play it as a 4 ball, but it was dead set. But those matches have been added to the playlist, so everything's there if you want to see it. If you missed the stub Cobra match, it's on Semi-Pro's channel on YouTube. If you just search for Semi-Pro VP4, I think you'll find it. Well, the 1 ball is the one that has to go. It has to disappear unless he's trying to dry. See, again, he's trying to do a lot more at the wrong time. It's a matter of picking off the balls and getting to that problem ball, which would have opened up that side of the table. And Mc Clarky's obviously not been watching any of the videos, he's not been listening, and he wants to do it his way, which is not going to work out. he didn't have to try and break everything open from that shot. If he'd only picked off the right balls, he would have got himself in a much better shape to play a more natural shot, just to run into them. And it just depends whether Mooncake's up to the job, if he's going to inflict the punishment that Mc Clarky should expect from that, because he's opened everything up here now. But Mc Clarky, from what we've seen so far, he has got to get his shots chosen better and get his pattern better and see where the angle is on a shot that was there all the time, to just get into the pack from it. Didn't need to do that. And the reason he didn't need to do it is because there's more than enough video evidence to show you why. That if you do it the right way, you'll construct something more substantial. When balls are open like this, it should only be little stuns, maybe the occasional cannon, a little soft screw, a bounce off a rail. The cue ball shouldn't be flying all over the place. Now this, well, it's okay because you can see the 11, you can squeeze in the 15 no problem. And he's now looking like leaving the 3 ball. It's the favourite, sitting in a reasonable position at the corner of the pack. He's just got to find his way through these. Nice little angle on the 10 ball will take him up the table, just to pick off the 11 or that 14. He might leave the 14 for the second last shot though. Well, if he's going to stick to that particular shot, then he's going to have to take an awkward 11. So he's going to have to rethink. And now again, it's the age-old problem. It's having to move 2 rails to get good. And that's not a bad pace if it keeps going. It needs to go a wee bit more. Let's have a look. Well, that'll do. But again, it has to get the stun right. It doesn't want to be running off the pack. Oh, that 10 ball has just blocked the 9. And well, he can't get to the 1. He's got the 15. And that is it. Well, he's taking the combo instead, but I thought he could get to the 15 fairly comfortably. Eight ball already would be nominated as my break shot, but that might end up getting moved by the time he's decided in what way he's going to try and disturb these balls. He could, let's see what that angle's like in the 6. Yep, he can certainly try it off the 6 if he wanted. Well, he's now in no man's land. Or can he see that? 13. That looks tight. Oh, the 13 goes. Yeah, you can get enough of that. No problem. He's missed that 6 by a country mile. It didn't even get to the jaws. And Mooncake's run ends on 19. But Mc Clarky has got to get rid of the deficit first. And everything's on for him. The 8 ball's still there. But he's going to have to get his shot choices a bit better, Mc Clarky. He's going to have to fix that very quickly. And he's got 2 good balls to get on this 8 ball in a good position. And I would want to get over to this right side and get rid of that 15 after this 14. And then that just lets you worry about these 2. Well, he was making sure that he was going to have no reason to run into the 8 ball there. But he was going to take the 15. Has he got enough on it? Well, he could play it, but the cue ball's staying up the top end of the table with that shot. Well, now he's going to take the 10 ball, which again, the 2 balls that would be the good balls to get on the 8, he's taking them out. So once again, it's not the ideal way to do it. It just makes it not quite as simple. But he's got a shot, but not going forward, because that will scratch. You know, had he played any of those 2 balls into the left or right middle, he'd have been a lot closer for the break shot than this. Bonus ball in the break as well. How is he for a shot though? It is not very healthy looking, I'm afraid. It is not good looking at all, this. I mean, he's got a 2 foot gap between the 1 and the 9. He can cut the 1 up the table, but he ain't getting anything else to choose from. He's got a dodgy 3 ball, which I wouldn't even give it a second look. But the best he may well be getting is this long combo on the 9. Played it well, a nice pace. And the 5 ball is sitting in position, the 3 ball is in position, the 13 ball is there, so he's got choices of break shot. But he's really got to use either of these balls. The 4 ball or the 1 ball is an easier ball to get onto the break shot. Because cue ball's got a lot less to be doing. Now, don't forget though as well, he's still got another problem to deal with. And he can deal with that now off this 11 ball. He can stun across into the 14 and the 6, because I don't think any of them will go anyway. So that's that problem sorted. I just get worried that, I mean, we've now pretty much made our mind up, it's more than likely going to be the 3. And he's still got these 3 balls in the triangle more or less to deal with them and take them out of the way. So the backup break ball has gone, the 2 balls going to go, and then he needs to land on any of these here. So as long as we decide the 3 ball's the break shot, then the 4 ball's ideal for getting on it. Makes it much more simple with very little movement of the cue ball that it has to do to find that line to get a nice simple break shot. this should be just gently popped in, this 6 ball, to finish in the 14 and get shot of that. Now, if we can get a little stun and not draw into the 3, you can get that 12. Well, that's going to take away one option of getting on the 3. So his only other option is going to be the 7, but once again, the way he's doing this, the cue ball's got a lot further to travel to get to the 7, which never guarantees you're going to get good. You see, he's a mile away from the 7 ball, and the cue ball's going right. It's going up to that right hand corner of the table, so he's having to work more in the cue ball to still make sure he has an angle. And it's from distance again, and he's got there, but again he could have been an awful lot closer. Four balls remain in the cluster, but there's enough there to be picked off. And being alert to the situation, I mean, straight away that 2 ball is prime, so if he rolls in the 9 and comes out far enough, he can deal with that 2 and that cluster straight away. But he hasn't gone far enough. I mean, that was a simple shot to get the cue ball out for the 2, and he's way short of it. In fact, he's going to have to take the 2, because he's either that or roll the 5 in. Now, if he rolls through in the 5 and pot 2 comes around the corner, he can still, if he gets far enough down, he can take the 2, but if he doesn't, he's got a choice of that 6. Or maybe the 15 if he ended up down where we're looking from. So there goes the easiest opportunity to break those 3 balls, and he's got rid of it. And this is what I mean about actually making the right choices. Well, good evening. You see, we're not having the text to speech on. I'm too busy watching the table. I'm not seeing the chat. Good evening and welcome. Well, I'm surviving now. I've had my dinner, but I've been streaming since when? 2 o'clock this afternoon, and it's now coming up to, well, it's not far off it, but it's now coming up to 8 o'clock. So this is our 3rd match of the day, and definitely the last one. Well, he's nudged the 1 and created another problem. Now, anywhere behind these 2 balls, he can get rid of 1. And from that position, he can certainly get rid of 1. Now, can he pot the 1 and just chip the 10 or something? No. So once again, it's either going to be a combo on the 8 and 10, or he's going to try and, can he see that 8 to cut it? I would say there the biggest criticism is that Mc Clarky's not on the ball as far as dealing with situations whenever he has a sniff of a chance to deal with them, and he's making hard work of it. I mean, he's on 31, and as long as he hangs in there, he'll get there. But I just think he could make it a bit easier for himself, because now he's going to have to play the combo, the 7 balls in the triangle, and we've not got a break shot. And when you're at this stage in the rack and you still don't have a break shot, your chances of progressing are getting slimmer and slimmer. And that's why I keep repeating myself that you have to be straight on the ball from the very start of the rack and go through the same monotonous process all the time of picking those balls, making sure you know what the break ball's going to be unless something accidental happens, and work to it. Deal with it's just a repetitive thing until it just annoys you, but you have to keep doing the same thing. So he's got the break shot from the back of the pack. And welcome to any late comers that I might have missed. And it hits a solid wall of balls, and he's on the 7. And again, immediately here off this 7 ball, he can finish just above square in the 2, and he can break these open. But he's away up the table. Things like that, you know, he's away up the table looking for those, but he had the immediate chance to deal with that cluster. And okay, he might do it later on, but that's the point I'm making. These chances, when you see them, you have to be right on top of them and deal with them as soon as you get that chance. Always be totally focused, aware of where the balls are lying, what goes, what doesn't go, and what's the problem, and how can I deal with it immediately. And that's one that's gone again. He's still got another chance to do it off this one. He can just run through square in the 2. As long as you get enough angle, it's just enough to disturb things. That might well do it. That is perfect on that 2. But can the 2 squeeze past the 13? That's or the 11, whatever the hell ball it is. Yeah, the 2 does go, but it's, you know, you're having to just be careful. So that's another chance gone. And now we're running out of balls, and we're running out of options. And the 3 ball goes, but it's no good because you're not going to hit anything because he's not got the right angle. So once again, the run is 41, and it's in serious threat of ending in the not too distant future. He's played the draw, he's hit the 3, and that might have done him a favour, because that may well have made his mind up, because that kiss means that he's going to run through and get the split. But that is lucky, and he's apologising. Well, you need the luck in this game some of the time, but for most of the time you need to be playing the right shots, and he's managed to go straight through and miss them. I don't know how he managed to miss them, but like I said, he's run out of options, and his last chance would have been getting on that 2. And this is a tall order, so it's a big heave-ho draw again. Well, I don't know what he thought he could get going down there, but well, I could see this coming all along. The run is 44 and the lead is 29, but the patterns are not to my liking, which is why the run is ending on 44. But there is a bait ball there for Mooncake. Now, if we was to play the cut up the table, I can't see how he's not going to run into these balls off that side rail. But it's a toughie, and he ain't interested. Now the safe shot here, can that 15 go? That 15 goes. I was looking at the safety off the 4 ball and pushing the 15 to the side rail and then the end rail and running up the table until I seen the 15. Or what was it, the 4 and the 12, sorry. And Mc Clarky could well have been still at the table had he picked those balls better. In fact, he should have been. Not could have, he should have. Has Mooncake finished dead straight? Yes, he has. And he's not got a lot of options here, but he can kill the cue ball and pot the 14. Oh, is it? I see I'm falling asleep now. Just as well you said that. when did it change? I must have yawned and missed it. In fact, more to the point, what the hell did Mooncake do to let him back in? Oh no, it was that safety, wasn't it? Aye, that's what it was. Leaving the 15 ball on. Now, the 2 ball will do. Now, how do you get to the 2 ball? Round behind it and into the table. Looks like the plan. And he's short by 7 or 8 inches. And he's done the wise thing there. But nevertheless, no matter how Mc Clarky's doing it, the most important thing is that he's building up a lead. The lead's 33, and so for this match to end up being close, we need Mooncake to start doing something and playing a half decent safety shot is the first order of the day. Oh, I thought there was a gap there, but it's okay. Or is it? Can he? Oh, he can get that 1 ball. That 1 ball will go. Yep. And Mc Clarky's off and running again, so the safety hasn't worked out. Now look at the opportunity Mc Clarky's got here, staring you in the face. Just kill the cue ball on that 14 and then run the 4 ball up the table, or better the 6 ball if you can get on it, and that allows you to open them from that shot. If he's thinking about getting up the table for the 11 to do it, but there's 2 balls there that would do it, and now he's going to have to try and do it off the 2. I'm always for making your life simpler. A roll in would have been perfect. Well, he's got lucky. He's got half a chance in the 4 ball. He's got a slightly dodgy 15. How's that angle? Not much, and dangerous to get aggressive off this 11 ball. That's prime for a scratch. He needs to get a better angle. He can do that off this what is it, the 12 ball. He can pot the 12, gently pot it, and leave a better angle on the 11. Now he's in trouble. Well, the brave shot is the 3, because the 3 doesn't go into this corner, and there's nothing else set anywhere. Well, all I can think is he's going to give this the heave-ho, the full boonah, to try and do something here. Yeah, and that's why you miss them. So that's a missed call. And once again, it's going to be bits and pieces until he gets his shot choice worked out a lot better. But the lead is 39, and it's well past the time where Mooncake should be doing something here. Okay, he's not got a very inviting start here, but it's time he got his act together, because Mc Clarky is not doing anything in one move. It's half a dozen moves to build up this lead, and Mc Clarky's not receiving any punishment. Right, there's your one top-down view for the day. I hope you all enjoyed that. And now we'll have a look from the other end of the table. Can he see the 4? Because that's the one blocking ball. No, he can't. And none of them go. So once again, Mooncake's running out of shot choices here, unless he wants to risk taking that combo from that angle. Trying to hold it as much as he can, but that's not much better. Well, the 6 ball is sitting as a break shot. He's going to have to bite the bullet here and decide what he's prepared to do. It's around the corner now for the 9. Needs to just slow up. Is he going around 2 rails? It needs to keep going. The pace looks pretty good, and that will do. And he needs to build on this from here to get right back in this match. 31, still the deficit, and the balls are broken pretty well, but with a cluster that he can deal with off the 12. I think he can. Let's have a look and see what that looks like from there. Maybe not. He's got the bailout ball up the table. Be well worth leaving that where it is, the 15 for the time being, just in case there's any problems. there goes the bailout ball. so much for what I know. The bailout ball has gone. He might live to regret that. He's going to try and disturb something now. Can he see the 8? No, he can't. What match is on in the snooker tonight, guys? Because it's already underway. I've not seen any snooker all day. Sullivan must be up at some point. Oh, wait a minute. Who is it that's out the tournament? Trump's out the tournament because he's in isolation, from what I heard. But I haven't a clue who's playing tonight in the Masters. That's on. That'll be on BBC Sport /snooker. The one ball wipes its feet. But we still have a problem. And once again, it's the same old story. We're running out of options here. And he's having to kick this in, I think. Yep. And it's just dropped in and no more. Well, he's going to try off the 11. No, he's not. He's going to try off the 13. No, he can't because he's too straight. Selby and Maguire. Oh well. Oh, it depends what Maguire turns up. I mean, Maguire's got all the game to give Selby a match, but the way Selby's back in form, he'll grind him into the floor. It's all a question of whether Maguire plays into his hands. He's finally got the break, and he's created a break ball, and it all looks pretty nice from here. Plus he's got very adjacent balls to get on that 10, so he should be sitting pretty in a minute or two. Maguire 2-0 up. Well, that makes it even more interesting, so hopefully I'll be able to see some of that. We'll have a final look at the bracket once this match is over, just to get us fully up to date with the lay of the land. Well, there goes what I thought was the break ball. It's going to be the 5 then, and he's the wrong angle on the 14. So once again, it's either straight up or 2 rails. Straight up, but with inside right English to check it, and I don't think he can get there, can he? He's going to be hard pushed from that angle and from that distance to get anything in the pack, I think. Well, he's got a touch, but he's dead in the water, and it's all over. Yeah, Mr. Strocum, it has been a wee while since I've seen that name. So the run ends in 23, and he's still not back on par. He's still chasing Mc Clarky. And the ball that takes care of the cluster is the 13. That's the one that deals with a problem, that one there, because that then allows you to get into these. And that shot from Mc Clarky is a weak one, and Mooncake could immediately deal with that problem off this shot. Then again, he won't be able to because the bloody 13 doesn't go past the 2, so having looked at that, I reserve my judgment. From here, the 13 looks as if it goes until you get round the other side. But now the 2's out the way, the 13 is still in play. And what's the angle like in the 4? Dead straight. The one player we haven't seen for a while is Romario. I don't know what the hell's happened to him. I mean, he has, in recent years, he's had a tendency to disappear for months on end and then show up for 2 nights and then disappear again. So, knowing very little about him, we don't know what's happened to him. Well, I think he's got one choice, and he's looking at it, that 8 ball, because there's nothing doing this side. Oh, he was always on. Then again, so were a lot of people, but he certainly has gone for a long time. I mean, he's not been on for at least 6 months or more. Well, he called the bank and he got it on the 13. Still trailing by 11. And of course, Lucky Charm or Lucky Q hasn't been on for, well, at least 2 years or more, maybe longer. So maybe he's gone for good. In fact, 2 years sounds a bit short. Probably 4 years. It's been a long while since he's set foot in the premises. Unless he's Carlos Lindo. Good evening. Here comes the vanquished player, Hazard, who put up a sterling effort against semi-pro. Made a match out of it, had semi-pro worried. And you should have anybody else worried who you're going to meet in that one loss side. Last on March 2020. Well, unless he just went online to look at the website, I never saw him in the lobby. Because that's all that can mean, that he's just been online. He's not been in the lobby. When did he last play? Did it say what date he actually played, and it show you in his match history? See if you can find out when his last match was that he actually played somebody at anything. Well, that's also a bad sign as well. I mean, March was when the bloody pandemic started. He could have been dead and buried by now, we don't know. That's the thing. These people that don't give you any information, they don't tell you anything about themselves. He's always been like that. I know absolutely nothing about him in all the years that we've played virtual pool. Oh, here's a break shot. that 8 ball needs to go. Once it goes, that's all the problem solved, because the 5 and 2 you don't need to worry about, but the 8 ball going out the way just opens those two, and then the 9 ball has to go. Oh, I doubt it very much. I would doubt that very much. Like I say, I don't think Romario's given any information to anybody, let alone an email. He would have had to give me an email back in the day. The only problem is it was never an email that says Romario at such and such, because I've still got email addresses in my well, it must have been through BT at the time. That shows you how long I've been with them. I've still got email addresses from players who signed up to some of my big tournaments in VP3, and probably most of those emails are long since not used and changed. But as to whether I've got Romario's email, I wouldn't know. But I definitely would have taken an email from him, because I always used to get them to verify a word, and if they verified a word, then I knew their email was working. I wonder if that's Yamaguchi Taru. Well, that's about the only thing we know about Romario, and even then, Dan can just be some sort of made up name. Well, Mc Clarky, first to 3 figures, and only 50 away. And the yawning has started. The brain is on shutdown mode. Well, it has been for the last 2 hours. Well, that 1 ball is just at the top of the triangle. He's got to get this with enough pace to get the ball into the pocket, but the cue ball's going to squirt out into the table, so he has to get that pace right, and that isn't bad. Now, if he was just to kill the cue ball there, he'll probably get away with that. He's certainly going to brush across the top of these 2 balls here. Is he on anything other than locking onto the 12? No, it's all over. Now, how does he get it safe? Oh, I need a coffee. That's what I'm heading for after this. A good coffee. I need that caffeine hit. So a point away, but Mc Clarky's still in the lead. So that's one foul each. Well, of course, the main problem is this 15 ball being exposed over the corner pocket. There's nowhere you can go up table. So that's 2 fouls for Mc Clarky. And of course, Mooncake doing the obvious thing, forcing him now to take the hit or get to a rail. And he's got to a rail. Well, that would have been 18 points away. And Mooncake may well do the same thing. He might just push on to that 14 while he's trying to find the pack as a blocker, and that will do. Well, this might go on for a little while, this, unless something squirts out. And all the time balls have been freed up, and it makes it all the more difficult to keep things covered. So Mooncake on 1 foul again. Mc Clarky gets to a rail. Mooncake is now backed into a corner here. Can you hit that 13 clean? I think the problem with that is he's so close to the 7 if he was trying to push that 13. Now that's 2 fouls to Mooncake, I think. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but that's twice he's not got a ball to a rail. Now what's Mc Clarky looking at here? He's calling the combo, 13 onto the 15. Well, that was again taking a big risk when he didn't need to. He had Mooncake on 2 fouls, and a big risk. So now we've got 2 clusters that need dealing with. And that's not changed the situation one bit. And now he's running out of options here. If he was to cut the 9 into the right middle and go down off that end rail, he can come back up the table to more or less where the 9 is, or somewhere in that sort of region, to try and play the 4. But he's got a much more narrower angle in the 4 to get a breakout in those balls. He's having a look at a combo, but had he finished sort of there, it would have been much better than here. So he's called what looks to be the 15. In it goes, and still has a similar situation. Well, he's really been left with not very many options here. Trying to finish square in a 7. He's gone a bit squarer than he would have liked. He's got the thin cut in the 15, both of which would allow him to run into these if he gets it right. And that's dealt with the problem. So now it's to focus on the break shot. Can be the 4. The 4 ball is right up the pack. That looks good to me. But oh dear, he is a mile out with the 10 ball, and the run is only 9, and he's still behind Mc Clarky. And Mc Clarky once again has a chance to pull away. Well, now would be the right time to get your high run for the match. Well, that's not ideal, because he's going to have to find a narrow gap to get between that 2 ball and 8 ball. He's found it. Oh, that is certainly, Mooncake's already proved that, but is he going to be able to produce the goods? He's trying desperately to keep that 4 ball there as a break shot. Cut the 8 ball and cue ball out into the middle of the table. Still got to control the pace. He doesn't want the cue ball to disappear over the left hand side. He needs to get it out in the middle. And that will do. Don't know whether you can get it straight away or run off the 2 rails, but right rail, left rail, and then into them. Yeah, he's got them, but the cue ball's locked. Always on these flat 4 or 5 balls in a row. It's like a brick wall. Now, can he see that 15? I'd need a bit more convincing he can. And he's only left with a combo. Well, as long as you can see the 6, he's still okay. That 1 ball has a possibility it could end up as a break ball, believe it or not. There's nothing else sitting much better, but the worry about the 1 ball is it's out in the table, and it's probably safer to break it from the inside, because again, when you're trying to get them from that side, because that ball's that far off the rail, it's never the greatest of lines to try and get the cue ball sent into the pack from that side. It's probably much easier doing it from inside, just in that window there. But that's if he's decided in the 1 ball. The 9 ball was a possible, or whatever ball that is, the 13 or the 11. No, that's the 13. That would have been a possibility, but he's missed that again also by a mile, and so the visit is 8. And Mooncake has to step up now. He has to get himself on par and in the lead. And how do we deal with that situation? Now, where that cue ball was sitting there, I'm wondering whether he could see enough of that 9 ball to pot it, because it's back to square one. It's this single problem here that needs dealing with, and that's it dealt with. And we can relax now and look at where the break shot's going to be. But like I say, keep your eye on that 1 ball. If he's going to keep that 1 ball, then he's going to probably have to go inside nearer the rail than rather coming across from the left side. And he's got an easy shot to do that. If he takes that 13 up in top right hand corner, that'll be the one that will get him good on the 1 ball, and he should already have that in his mind, because it's looking more and more that it possibly could be the one. It may even be that 11. Well, he's looking like he's going to, he was looking at the 1. Well, it's going to be the 1 now, I think, from this position. And probably just back an inch or 2. He's gone too far. He's going to have to stun this in, get that pace, and at least get parallel or just slightly to the left of the line up and down the table that splits that 11 ball. And he's gone short. And it just means you're doing that blind cut back. Oh, wrong button, I hit the Windows key there. Well, he's got 1 bailout ball. That's all you need, but he's got nothing else. That cue ball's married to that 9 ball there. Well, he can pot the 12 down the rail. He can run through for that 6 ball into the opposite middle, and he could try and get the way they're sitting there in that cluster and the balls around it, that 13 and that 15, these 2 here, I mean, that one there, that one is a blocking ball if you're working from the right hand side, obviously, but to get to that 15 ball is so awkward. And he's sitting here with a possible combo on the 5 and 3, so there's a bit of hard work to be done here, and it looks as if he's decided that's one option he's going to have to take. Now, if that slowed up, that would have been ideal to get rid of that 15 ball, and he's just gone too far. And I think he's got too much angle to gently cut the 9 in and try and hold for that 15. He'll do well if he did that. Well, this could all go wrong. It has done. He can't get to the 5 to pot it, I don't think. Or can he? And he's looking to cut the 6. This is another bailout shot. Well, now he wants to get a good angle in the 8 so he can get up for the 15 from the right hand side. And that will do that. That's perfect. You just drop that 8 ball in. Well, he's looking at the 15 from this side. I don't know what's to stop him dropping the 8 ball in and finishing on the 15 from that side, but he's got his way of doing it. Now, what would we have as a break shot? Nothing ideal. The 13 could be it, but it's way deep down the table. It's not nice. The 8 balls at the back of the pack. The 7 balls not ideal. It would be okay from where he is now, roughly with the cue ball, to cut that into the middle and then run into the pack from there. That still allows the 7 ball to be used as a break shot, but he'll probably never be in that position again in this visit. He could also be looking at potting the 2 ball, running out to sort of there, potting the 7 and running into the pack that way, but he's doing everything from distance. Well, he can't be doing that because he's still got the 14 to take, but where he is now would have been more than acceptable as a break shot. There, I've almost drawn a giraffe there. And the further he goes, the straighter he goes. And once again, this could end up stone dead. He might break balls out, but he might be just lying against that row of balls. He spun off them. And he's got nothing. He's going to have to call the bank in the 11 if he's going to try and continue this run. He's got a really ambitious 9 ball onto the 2. But it's the bank that's been called. Good evening. Welcome. Where were you at 2 o'clock this afternoon? And that's way off. Cue ball scratched. And, well, the run ends on 24. Mooncake has got himself in the lead, albeit a slender lead of just 6 points. And Mc Clarky, is he going to be, well, what he can get to, I was going to say that, if he can get to that 12, he wants to get it dealt with straight away. Might even get lucky and run into that 2 and 15 to try and improve them. Well, why does he not take the 2 now when he's on it? He can cut the 2 from where he is. Now he can take it. Or maybe even the 15, can he take it? No, he can't, it has to be the 2. So that'll get rid of that problem. And the other one is the 14 and the 1. Well, I've been here since 2 o'clock this afternoon. I've been here 6 hours. Why are you turning up this late? I mean, That's no excuse being at work. My excuse for missing the Stub match this morning was being at work. But that's because Stub and Cobra are a pair of numpties and set it for middle of the night Stub time and breakfast time for Cobra. Or else I would, if this was tomorrow, I would have been on all bloody day. So in a way, I'm glad I missed the match this morning. I'm pretty much rooted to the spot here, even eating my dinner while I'm streaming. I had no chance to do anything when I get home. And I'm beginning to fall asleep. Lazy bastard, watching at work. I wish I could have. Well, mind you, I wish I knew that Semi-Pro was... I mean, he didn't live stream it, he recorded it, the Stub match. So if anybody missed the Stub Cobra match, it's on Semi-Pro's YouTube channel. I'll watch it tomorrow. And if you just type into YouTube Semi-Pro VP4, you should find his channel. What do you mean you work 12 hours? What you really mean is I'm at work 12 hours, right? But for 8 of those hours I just sit and watch YouTube. Thursday at 12 AM. Well, the bad news on that one is I won't be there. Is that 12 AM GMT? Or that'll be what? That'll be 1 AM. Sorry, wait a minute. That'll be 11 PM GMT, isn't it? Are you not in Germany? Or am I just getting confused? Because Friday morning I'll be back at work. Yeah. Now wait a wee minute here. 12 AM isn't 12. Oh no, you're right enough. I'm getting even more confused. That shows you that fatigue is set in a long while ago. The voice is cracking up. The brain's gone. I need a coffee. I am seriously in need of caffeine to waken me up. Anyway, yeah, that's Thursday, so I'll be there for that then. So here's a good break shot. Perfect position. Now, is Mc Clarky going to make this count? Well, you've got to have sympathy for me. I've been up since... when did I wake up this morning? I woke up at 4:10 this morning. So I've been up all those hours. And I worked till noon today. And then I drove home, had a quick snack, never even had a cup of tea or a cup of coffee with it, and straight in to get ready for the afternoon's matches. And I've been here ever since. But I've got, in fact, anybody give me a latest score in that match with Maguire and what's his name, Selby, to see if I can actually see a frame of it before I go to bed. What was the last update? 2-0 to Maguire. Well, I drive on the Autobahn at least 2 or 3 times a week, and I don't have any problems. And I'm talking about the Autobahn in Germany. Oh no, I'm sticking with it all the way. I want to see this run out here by Mc Clarky. He's going to finish the match here. Now, can he cut that thin enough, that 8 ball, just to skim down and clip these? He might not get a better chance. Let's have a look at what he's got. Oh yes, he's got to play the 8 ball. Well, he should have taken the 8 ball there. Commentator's eye showed he had a perfect line on that 8 ball. It might have been, the problem that might have worried him was a 2 ball, and he didn't go through with the shot there. Or is he on the 1? If he'd gone through with that with a bit more meat, he would have split them open. He's died a death in front of them, and now he's going to have to play the 8 ball. And Mooncake may well live again here. And it was asking too much. Now Mooncake, he may well have a dig off that 8 ball. He's having a look at it. It's in a reasonable position, and he could have a little cut off that 8 ball, because none of those balls go. That 9 ball is too tight to get really good on it, and he's trying to get good on it, I think, and he's made a pretty damn good effort at it. That is excellent, but he's dead straight, so he might have to pinch it a bit and try and go around the corner. Or is he trying to draw back? No, yep, he's trying to pinch a bit to stun, and he's missed the 9. Would you believe it? And the run ends on 1, and that ain't going to make it, Mooncake, and that might be his last shot. What is it? Is it bad snow in Germany at the moment? I think it's pretty cold over there. The weathermen over here don't know what's going to happen. They're talking about a front moving in and possible disruption with snow on the east coast. They're not quite sure how the weather's going to go here at the moment. Well, this is Mc Clarky's chance. Well, we don't do crisp snow over here. We do slushy wet stuff most of the time. And we've all thawed out now. All the snow's gone in all the towns and everything. There'll still be plenty of snow in the Scottish mountains, perfect for skiing. Not that there'll be much skiing, bearing in mind everything's in lockdown, so that's the skiing industry down the pan for this season. And they struggle most years anyway in this country. They rely on those 2 or 3 months that they can have skiing, and that is gone. Well, this is a vital shot. Dead straight in the 8 ball, big draw, and a big distance to be playing this shot. Right on the rail. Well, he'll clip the 9, I think, but that'll be about it, because he can't risk jacking up. Well, he's hit them thicker than I thought, and that's worked out not bad. Got the 11 to cut, got the 14 to run. The 1 will go. If he just drops through in the 14, he's got the 4 or the 7 or the 8 or the 2. He's got plenty to choose from. But more importantly, he's got all the balls that he needs to take this match out at this visit. And Sylvia thinks it's all over. She's gone. She's seen enough. Well, this is not going to go down in the VP history as a classic match. Far from that. No player got going at all. And we all know the reason why. It's all down to those patterns, how you pick your way through them. Because points can be made if you do it right. That's been on show time and time again. Well, he tried a little chip there, didn't get it. Now let's get our arithmetic sorted out here. He needs 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he needs one of those balls. He needs the 15 or the 3. Either or, he's going to have to break them out to win the match here. And he's still not got an angle to get into them. He's got a slight angle in the 6. And he's gone too far in the 11, I think, to get any joy this time either. He's tried a little chip. That's made it worse. But can he cut the 15? He can cut that 15. Why is he not looking at the 15? The 15 goes. Is he going to take it off the 7? Or is he going to try and break them even more? He doesn't need to. Well, he's on 147. He can't miss this combo. And as I said earlier, we're going to have one final look at the bracket before you go, just so that everybody knows where everything stands on this tournament, because we are getting too deep into the business end. And Mc Clarky is going to win through by 150 points to 117, and we'll find out who he's lined up to play as the one lost side moves on. So Mc Clarky's the winner, and it was not something I'd maybe want to watch again. But you get matches like that, and it doesn't matter how you win as long as you get through. But he'll need to step up big time. So, one final look at the bracket, and then I'm heading for coffee break time. So we'll start from top to bottom. We've got Tommy Yu all set up to play Bankster, and that will be on Thursday afternoon, as was pointed out to me, who thought it was midnight. And I'll be there for that. And then further down we've got the Mc Clarky match, which is just about to refresh and update, and there we go, and he is through to play the winner of Tommy Yu and Bankster. And as we move further down, we'll see that LS3 has gone through against Fast Eddie earlier this afternoon, and LS3 won by 150 points to 110, and she is through to play. Well, it's bad news for LS3. She's up against Albinario, but she knows she has to step up again, because she was poor. Too many misses, too many mistakes, and she cannot make any amount like that against Albinario, because even though Albinario might make the odd mistake, he is going to score if he's given the chance. Right, further down we've got Mr. Bill. Oh well, Stubb is still in the tournament, so Mr. Bill to play Stubb. And over on the winner's side, well, we can see that Semi-Pro is in the hot seat, and he has got until more or less the end of January to get his match played. So Semi-Pro has got plenty of time to get to bed and get some sleep in. And at the top of the bracket we've got Larry and Cobra, who are going to battle it out to see who plays Semi-Pro in that hot seat match. And so until Larry and Cobra play, then the one lost side of course won't be completed, because obviously the loser of that match is going to drop across to the one lost side eventually. But that is all in hand. But the next match will be tomorrow at noon my time, and I hope you can join us. So until then guys, it's been a long day for me, and thanks for watching. I'm sorry that arsehole dropped in again. I just wish there was one way to get the bloody rid of them. And so until tomorrow, if you can join us. If you can't, remember the video will be on YouTube. I'll add this one in a little while to the playlist, and you can catch up with anything you might have missed. And a quick reminder, if you've missed the stub match with Cobra this morning, it's on Semi-Pro's channel on YouTube, Semi-Pro VP4 I think, and that will let you watch that. Oh, there's Andy there as well. It's about, where the hell did you appear from? Just in time for me to bid you good night, and we'll see you tomorrow or any time soon. So take care, stay safe, keep your distance, wear your mask, send one person to the shops, and don't take the kids, and I'll see you again.